Today we're back with the 2021 Acura TLX. We have an advanced package here. We have a 2-liter turbocharged engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission. It makes 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Acura's done a number of changes to this all-new TLX. We've actually filmed a couple of reviews on it already, so if you want the full lowdown, check those out in my previous videos. What I wanted to talk about today is something a little bit different. I wanted to sum up my thoughts on this TLX and see if my first impressions really have held true after spending a week in this car. And the second thing I wanted to do was just show you guys what this is like in the dark. It's the headlights, the interior lighting, the ambient lighting on the inside. This is a cool car to drive in the dark, and figured it's worth showing on video. So let's get into it. You do get some ambient lighting accents here. You have a little bit of adjustability. Cool startup chime when you first get in the car. I'll say just right off the bat, I really do like this new TLX. It's fantastic. There is so much to like about this thing, and there are a couple really big high points that I wanted to go over in this video. The first of which is just the general usability and button placement, the ergonomics, the user-friendly nature of this cabin. So this is a big one with cars these days. We have so much technology, we have so many features, and especially in a luxury sedan like this, you want to be able to access everything relatively easily. We have really nicely organized buttons. Everything for the cruise control is right here on the steering wheel. It's very well organized. All the buttons and settings that you need are in there. They're not hidden deeply inside a menu. We have our shifter here that's very similar to the NSX and a lot of other Acura products. I like it because you don't have to look down and see what you're about to do. You can do pretty much everything based on feel. The climate control, you've got buttons and knobs. It's a little bit of a far reach sometimes, but it works. You've got your heated and cooled seats. Your heated steering wheel is right here on the left of the steering wheel. And then down here on this side, you can control your head-up display very easily. You can change the brightness, the height. You can turn it on and off. Fantastic, as it should be. Down here you have your wireless charging, a couple of nicely placed cup holders. You have a decent amount of space here in the center console. And then there's this touchpad. This is a different system. Basically, Acura wanted to place the screen up as high and close to the driver's field of view as possible, but have the driver be able to control the screen easily with minimal distraction. And I think they've achieved something quite special and unique here with this touchpad system. It is a one-to-one touchpad, and what you do is you just kind of rest your hand on this bump right here, and wherever you press on the touchpad is what is selected on the screen. It takes a little bit to get used to, but once you do, you become a pro at it, and it's a very nice system to use. Luckily, there also aren't very many settings and things hidden within this user interface. You can also go into Apple CarPlay. Unfortunately, that is not the same system, so you're swiping like you are in the Lexus system, for example, but it's a lot better and a lot more accurate to use than some of those other systems. I think Acura did a really nice job with this touch display, and we saw that first come out in the RDX a couple years ago. You also get your volume controls right here, your track selection controls right down there next to it. You have a home button. There's a secondary screen to the right where you can select a few different things, your location, your map, your time. Kind of neat to see that as well. The other really big thing I like about this TLX, and it's probably reason enough to buy this car alone if you're an audiophile, but the ELS 3D surround 17 speaker system in this is absolutely sublime. I think it's the best in-car audio system I've ever heard at any price. Volvo gets pretty close with their new Bowers and Wilkins systems, but it just doesn't have that clarity. It feels like your whole life you've been running around with earwax, plugging up your ears, and you get into this TLX and it's crystal clear. It's pretty amazing, and it even sounds good with Spotify playing or Sirius XM satellite radio playing, which is impressive, which is something that I wasn't expecting because you don't necessarily get high quality audio files streamed through those services. This week, Acura did give us some tracks on a USB stick. They're all very high fidelity. Of course, they're all copyrighted, so I can't really play them for you, but just listening to everything was an incredible experience, and I'm really blown away by the sound quality of this. It's something that you kind of just have to go and experience for yourself in the real world, but if that's important to you, and in this car, it's a transformative experience from behind the wheel. I've never heard anything like it in a car. It's pretty amazing. So initially, those are some of my favorite things about this TLX. And let's talk about some of its dynamics. This is a pretty good car to drive as well. First, it's important to consider what this car is. I don't really think this is a sports sedan. The Type S is coming out early next year, and that's going to be a sports sedan. It's going to be fast because we have the twin-turbo V6. It's going to be a quick car, and you look in the engine bay of this TLX, this 2-liter turbo is just plopped in there, and there's so much more room to work around it and such a larger space for a bigger powertrain that the TLX Type S is going to be exciting. This standard TLX, though, the advanced package, even fully loaded, this is about $48,000. And at that price, I honestly think this car is class leading. If I wanted something sportier, I'd get an Audi S4 or maybe an M340i, but you're looking at so much more money at that point. This TLX is, I think, just one of the nicest cars on sale today. If you need a sedan, if you need a luxury vehicle that's just a really solid daily driver, this does everything you need. It's going to be reliable, it's comfortable, it has all of the tech features and luxury items you would need. I think it also looks pretty good. It's not offensively designed. This interior is very well laid out. The materials, the touch points in here are very nice. If something looks like wood, if it looks like metal, it actually is. Really, the only place where I think Acura cheaped out a little bit is just on the top of this door panel here. You've got a little bit of a cheap plastic, but really that's the only thing in this interior that I'm slightly disappointed with. I think this 2-liter turbo sounds pretty good too. It's an interesting little engine note. There's definitely some sound brought in from the speakers, but it's not bad. I think it sounds kind of neat. It isn't as dark out today as I thought it would be. We're doing a morning drive here. Figured I'd give you guys some light so you can see the interior. But these headlights are also fantastic in keeping with Acura tradition. They really light up the road at night. We'll show you guys a little clip of that right here. See how it does around this entrance ramp here. Really nice levels of mechanical grip. Super neutral. It almost sounds like a V6. There are a lot of little things in this TLX that just add up to a very nice driving experience. The turn signal click, for example. I feel like manufacturers probably spend hundreds of thousands of dollars developing the feel of their turn signal clicks, and Acura does a really nice job with this one. It's satisfying. It has the right amount of resistance. They've done a good job with it. And there's some other cool things about this TLX that I've really grown to appreciate over my time with it. This car's taken a lot of inspiration from the Acura NSX, which is kind of surprising. It has the same brake-by-wire system, and oh man, if every brake-by-wire system felt like this, I would be 100% on board. The feel is just about perfect. It's a really nice pedal. It's very progressive. It's linear. It's easy to modulate. They've tuned this very well, and I love the way it feels. The other thing is this steering wheel. It's kind of hard to see. It's maybe not the same D-shaped wheel as the NSX, but the ergonomics of it and the way it feels in hand is very similar to the way the NSX is. Let's put it into sport mode here. We have a few driving modes. Don't get me wrong, this TLX still hustles, and I think Acura's done some work to dial out the understeer off throttle with the super handling all-wheel drive. That was one of my biggest problems with the last TLX, is off throttle, this thing just plowed. And this feels a lot more neutral, a lot more nimble. There isn't a ton of mechanical grip at the limit with these. It's kind of tire limited with these all seasons, but I think for most people's use and even a little bit of spirited driving for someone who wants to have some fun, this does a really nice job. It's really direct. The steering has a little bit of feel, which is nice. There's a tightness and a tautness to the way this car handles a corner that's very satisfying. And on throttle, you get all the rotation and acceleration and grip you need with the super handling all-wheel drive system. Where this car really shines is flat out, 90-degree corner from a start. You just pin it and you're off. It's awesome. We have a few different drive modes. There's comfort, normal, and sport. And with this being the advanced package, you do get the adjustable suspension. So I found comfort to be a little bit squishy and floaty. Normal's slightly better, and sport buttons things down. I did drive the Acura TLX A-Spec quite a bit, and I found just the standard suspension to be really nice as well. So I don't really think the adjustable adaptive dampers in the advanced package are necessarily worth it, but it is nice to have a little bit of differentiation between drive modes. There's also an individual mode where you can go in and set your personal preferences that way. I also really like this 10-speed automatic. It does a pretty good job when you're trying to hustle it. Reasonably quick shifts. The paddle shifters are sluggish. They're not the best. They have a nice rubbery feel to them, but they don't perform like you would really want them to. Otherwise, though, this transmission is fantastic. The shifts are very smooth. They're virtually seamless when you're just driving around normally. It downshifts when you want it to. It's responsive. It's a very good transmission, and I don't really have any complaints about it. Sometimes, you get worried with these 10-speed automatics that there's just too many gears. Is it going to do what you need it to do? And I think the best thing I can say about this transmission is that it's not distracting. Let's talk about this adaptive cruise control. So this is a pretty nice system. It has good following distance. It reacts to vehicles slowing down and speeding up quite well. I think it blends speed differences nicely. I'm not too crazy about the lane keep assist and the lane centering system. It's a little bit drunk most of the time. It's kind of bouncing between the lines. I think Acura could definitely do some work on this system, and there are some improvements that need to be made. But overall, I do really like it because you can easily turn it on and turn it off. If you need to take your eyes off the road for something, fiddle with the infotainment, change a setting, you can do that very easily. On the highway, there's not a lot of wind or road noise. It's a very quiet, serene experience, as you would expect from a $48,000 Acura TLX. Come down to a stop, auto stop start engages most of the time. It's a pretty seamless system. When you let your foot off the brake, it turns on pretty much immediately, and luckily you can easily disable it if it's annoying you. Right there, press of a button, super easy to reach. I mean, really, Acura hasn't hidden any of the important settings here. I can't stand it when manufacturers hide your head-up display controls deep within 3 menus, or they make something like stop-start hidden behind a couple menus, and or even lane keep assist putting that in the center menu, and you have to go through and stop the car to change it or something like that. None of that is the case here with this TLX. They've made everything very simple and easy to adjust. This has been a really pleasant car to daily drive this week. It's smooth, it's comfortable, these seats are fantastic. They actually do a pretty nice job of keeping you bolstered in performance driving scenarios. These tires get a little bit chatty at the limit. But see how that 10-speed holds that gear? It knew that I was going to accelerate out of that corner, so it held that RPM, about 5,000 RPM, and let me ride the torque all the way out. This is a great powertrain, and I'm glad that Acura has made this 10-speed drive as well as it does. Cruising here, 75 miles an hour, 1,700 RPM. This week I've averaged around 24 mpg combined, and you should get pretty decent highway economy in this as well. Alright guys, well I think that's going to sum up the TLX. A lot of my initial impressions held true with this car. I'm still raving about it after spending more time in it. If anything, I'm raving more about it. I think this is one of those cars that Acura really, they didn't hold back on this thing very much. I think for the price, this represents incredible value. It delivers on all the fronts that you would want it to deliver on for a luxury midsize sedan that this is. It's a really nice package, and it's kind of too bad I can't show you the best part accurately, which is the ELS 3D surround sound system. That's something that you would just have to go and experience on your own, and take a USB stick, take your phone, plug it in, load some really nice high quality music on there, and just listen to this, because it's truly it's a pretty amazing experience, and I just can't believe what a difference it makes in the driving enjoyment factor with this TLX. So I think that's all I'll say about this right now. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll be posting some more videos on this TLX on the Winding Road Magazine channel. Charlie will be doing a POV night drive, and we'll probably get some more performance day driving situations in this thing without me yapping away. Little reference to Acura's racing heritage there. Decent amount of trunk space back here too. They've really accentuated the haunches of this new TLX, widened this line and this rear arch quite a bit. I mentioned earlier that there's a lot of room in this engine bay. Yeah. So much space for activities with this 2-liter. Kind of cool. You can see all sorts of stuff back there. Whole transmission. This thing would be very easy to work on, which is nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Appreciate you sticking around for this one. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.